home be safe, and so on. For all those people in this world who are suffering from the disease and war, whom they can recover soon and stay healthy. Next, we would like invite Sister Becky to offer the Holy Song. Junior is going to hand the mic to Sister Becky. Please get start, Sister Becky, when you are ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Lydia. Hello, everyone. At first, I would like to thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of holy teachers, the benevolence of patriarch, and the great virtue of Shizhun Shimu. Thank Bai Shui Shengdi, Qinxian Xianzhang, and the four bodhisattvas for their protections in heaven, and Yan Lao Dian Chuanshi, her great leading, and all the Dian Chuanshi for their sacrifice. Thanks so many seniors for their dedications to Tao and Tao affairs. Thank my introducer and guarantor's encouragement. Today, I'm going to share this holy song. This holy song is given by our living Buddha Qigong, and the melody is Red River Valley. So let me read the content first. Tao is the holy truth, eternal life. With love, you'll see heavenly light. Tao is in our everyday life. It is our life's only guide. Now you know the right path leading the way. Cultivate yourself night and day. With your mind, let the heart stray. Let the works of darkness cast away. Rectify your thoughts and be upright. Purify your heart from desires and pride. Let all speak and act with pure mind. Be a lamp for those without sunshine. Set all sentient beings with full patience. Guide and show them the right direction. Fill all hearts with care and concern. Accomplish it in due season. Okay, let's go back to the first verse. Our holy teacher told us, Tao is the holy truth, eternal light. With love, you'll see heavenly light. Tao is in our everyday life. It is our life's only guide. The truth is that all the things in the universe will disappear in one day because these are all tangible materials. These tangible materials will follow the process of creation and destruction. And they are all duality. So that's why they will create conflict and confusion. However, a lot of people are still pursuing external things and running after money and fame. Finally, they lost themselves. This is how currently most of the people live in this world. Fortunately, we have received Tao and found out who we are, meaning the source of life. We understand only to cultivate ourselves that we can change our life or destiny and remove all the worries, pains, or sufferings, and can even liberate from the cycle of birth and death. So what is Tao? Tao is shadowless and formless. Tao is the holy truth, eternal life. And also our Buddha nature. There is one senior who has ever shared her experience. She said she has ever seen our Heavenly Mother. She said our Heavenly Mother is full of light with love, but it is too strong light to look at it directly. And Tao is the principle of our life. For example, just to practice filial piety and show our respect to our parents and love our siblings and do it from our bottom of our heart naturally. If we are practicing Tao into our daily life, we are living Tao. And now, if you know the right path leading the way, cultivate yourself night and day. With your mind, never let the heart stray. Let the darkness, let the works of darkness cast away. We know Tao within ourselves, but it is very hard to keep the Buddha nature all the times. After receiving Tao, we know that the three treasures. We can practice three treasures at any time, no matter where you are, or even when you are feeling down or in a dark place. With sincere mind, it will connect you with Heavenly Mother or all the Buddhas right away. There is one senior. He shared that one day he took a shower with his baby. His baby is just like 2 years old around and was playing with water in the bathtub. Suddenly, he saw there was no sound from his baby as he was lying in a tube full of water. He was frightened out of his skin, but he remembered he can use three treasures. Then quickly he calmed himself down and used the three treasures sincerely. Then he tried anything of first aid treatment he can remember to save his son and called the 119 emergency call at the same time. Then his baby was taken to the hospital immediately and survived. At the time, he said he was full of grateful heart to our Heavenly Mother to save his son. From this story, I do encourage you can try the three treasures a lot of time, so you will feel the positive energy will come back to you gradually. Rectify your thoughts and be upright. Purify your heart from desires and pride. Let all speak and act with pure mind. Be a lamp for those without sunshine. Sometimes we forgot that we are cultivator. We like an ordinary people with human heart. We tend to give rise to greed, anger, and ignorance. These are what we call the three poisons. They will affect our mind and behaviors, or even doing something regrettable. Only continue attending the Dharma classes and be near to our seniors and read the sutra. It can help us rectify our thoughts and be upright and purify our hearts from desires and pride. Holy teacher said that we are all Buddhas. Let's keep the Buddha heart and follow the step of Buddha spirit. To save more sentient beings, we can all be a lamp for those who are still in the suffering sea. It can start with very small things like sharing a sweet smile or just say hello to those people we encounter, and they can bring some sunshine to them. That's what. Shape all sentient beings with full patience. Guide them and show them the right direction. Fill all hearts with care and concern. Accomplish it in due season. The great harmony will come to this world one day. It is not far away, as it can begin with our small world, starting from oneself to our family member, then to our neighborhoods, and it will go to our country, and finally to the world. So with full patience to save all sentient beings, just like our holy teacher never give up on every of us, like a mother to take care of everyone who has affinity with us, and share more love and caring for them. By doing so, you are really the best. representative of the young angels in the world. And today is also the Mother's Day, so happy all the mothers. And we all can be the one. Let's do it together. So this is all my sharing, and thank you for your listening. Let's sing the holy song together.
Thou is the holy truth, eternal life. We love your heavenly light. Thou is sing our every day of your
Sing the holy song together.
Thou is the holy truth, eternal life. We love your heavenly light. Thou is sing our everyday life. It is our life's only guide. Now you've known the right path leading the way. Cultivate yourself night and day. With your mind never let the heart stray. Let the works of darkness cast away. Rectify your thoughts and be upright. Purify your heart from desires and pride. Let us speak and act with pure mind. Be a lamp for those without sunshine. Save all sentient beings with full passion. Guide and show them the right direction. Fill our hearts with care and concern. Accomplish it in due season. Thou is the holy truth, eternal life. We love your and be.
But I believe you have heard a lot.
Fill our hearts with care and concern. Accomplish it in due season.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Let me pass the mic to our coordinator.
Let us thank lecturer Becky for sharing this holy song. And this is a very beautiful song. It carries the expectation from our holy teacher, and that will be what the aspiration for us to work towards. So to work towards this aspiration, we have a lot of examples to follow, from our holy teacher, lady holy teacher, to our grand elders. But I believe you have heard a lot about them. So for today, we are going to be talking about other examples that we follow, who is immortal Qiu Changchun, lived about 800 years before our time. So today, it is our honor to invite lecturer Chandra Li from America. Lecturer Chandra Li is an Indonesian Chinese immigrant, Hua Qiang, and he belongs to the Yi Yu Fo Xuan Dao community. He began following a vegetarian diet with his family at the age of 9. Then he moved to Taiwan for middle and high school before heading to the United States for college. He's currently a Microsoft engineer in the United States, and he had his family temple based in Seattle. His father has already been ordained as a Dian Chuanshi in Indonesia, and Lecturer Li is also dedicated to Dao community as well. So he's very active in assisting with Dao affairs, not only in America, but also in this kind of online platform. He has been invited to be giving lectures in this online platform, I think every year since a few years ago. And despite the time zone shift, now in Seattle it's let me check the time, it's 4:30 in the morning. So that's very, very early. Without further ado, let us invite Lecturer Li to share this topic. So one, everyone please rise. And Lecturer Li, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Please have a seat.
Okay, thank you, Lecturer Li. 3, everyone please be seated.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to share a story. First of all, let me share my screen real quick so we can all see the. And let me know if you can or cannot see this. Let me make this larger. Okay, there you go. Can you all see my screen? All right. So yeah, first of all, I would like to be grateful for the heaven's grace and also the virtue of our holy teacher and mother, and really appreciate with Dian Chuanshi and every master who has dedicated their life and sacrificed their time and life to propagate Dao, so that we all can be here today, be seated to learn together about this story of immortal to spiritual journey. Right. So so I just wanna, I think today's likely a little bit more not very heavy sort of topic. It's gonna be more like telling a story. So with that, I'm sort of creating this storybook instead of generating PowerPoint slides. But I hope this works. And otherwise, I think we would love to also hear your feedback about this. All right. So so who is Qiu Changchun, or the immortal Qiu? I think let's go together to the to the beginning. So before we started, I think for the immortal Chu, he has a teacher, right? His teacher's name is called Wang Chongyang. And when he, under Wang Chongyang, there are like 7 disciples. And then maybe let me go back to the prologue and then let me read this out so we can all learn this together. So long, long time ago, in the time of the Song Dynasty, it was fading like the last light of evening. An old master named Wang Chongyang walked the dusty roads of Shandong province. He carried a staff and a gourd of water and a secret. Heaven had sent him down to gather 7 souls who would learn the Tao and shine like 7 stars over the world. He was a strange teacher. Sometimes he begged at the gate of rich men, hiding the Tao behind rag ropes. Sometimes he sat in a thatched hut and spoke in riddles. One by one, 6 brave students came to him. Kindly, Ma Yu and his quick-witted wife Sun Yuanzhen, the gentle Tan Chuduan, the patient Liu Chuxuan, sturdy Hao Datong, and cheerful Wang Chuyi. So in old China, a person can carry many names. The names your parent gave you at birth was for elderly and for official records. Among friends, you went by your courtesy name. So when you became student of great teacher, the teacher may give you yet another name, a Taoist name, that fit the new shape of your heart. So when each of these 6 was finally accepted into Master Wang's school, he took up his brush, dipped in a fresh ink, and then wrote a new name on the slip of red paper. So a student of Tao must wear a new name as he wears a new robe, the master would say. The old name is the child you were, the new name is the seeker you are becoming. From this day forward, an old name belongs to your parents, but the new name belongs to the Tao. So each of the 6 was given a new name. From here on, the storybook will call them by these new names, the names that history itself remembers them by. So Ma Yu, we're going to call them Ma Danyang. Sun Yuanzhen, we will call her Sun Bu Er. Tan Chuduan becomes Tan Changzhen. Liu Chuxuan becomes Liu Changsheng. Hao Datong becomes Hao Taigu. Wang Chuyi becomes Wang Yuyang. Qiu Qifa. Okay, so this is like the main character of our story. Qiu Qifa, we will call him as Qiu Changchun. So 6 was almost enough, but there was still a 7th seat at the table, waiting empty. A seat for a boy who had not yet found his way through the door. All right, so this is like the beginning of the story where Qiu Qifa starting to come in and then learn under Master Wang. So far down the lane, there was an orphan boy named Qiu Qifa. He had lost his parents when he was small, and his older brother had raised him as best as he could. Qiu's heart was bright and quick, too quick sometimes, and full of longing for something more than the dust of the village. When he heard the Master Wang was teaching at the Ma's family's farm, Qiu ran all the way there. The other 6 disciples were already seated. The master was speaking softly. Where there is one selfish thought, there is dust on the heart. When there is one selfish wish, there is a great demon waiting. Qiu was too shy to enter, so he stood outside of the door and pressed his ear to the wood. The teaching was so beautiful, he forgot himself and cried, "Wonderful!" The teacher frowned. "Who listens at my door? Who is the eavesdropper?" 4 of the disciples, Liu Changsheng, Hao Taigu, Wang Yuyang, and Tan Changzhen, stepped forward and begged for him. "Master, take him in. He has a real heart for the Tao." The master shook his head. "He is too clever. The first hardship will scare him home." But the 4 knelt and pleaded again, and Qiu knelt the longest of all, knees firm on the cold floor. "Very well," sighed the master. "I will give him a name. From this day, let him be called Changchun, for in his heart it will always be the green of springtime." And so the boy Qiu Qifa took the name Qiu Changchun, known to the history as Qiu Chuji. So he kowtowed 9 times, so the 7 seats were full at last. So the reason behind the story here, and the reason behind the master has been pushing him away, is because he knew from the get-go that Qiu Changchun, he will encounter many hardships in his life. Without a full dedications and focus and determinations for him to keep moving forward without any doubt, it is very important for him to to have the determinations. Without it, I think he won't be last. Like he won't be able to survive through these hardships. Okay, let's keep going to the second chapter, where we're gonna learn more about him in his story. So the next day, at dawn, the master rose and tied a cloth bundle to his back. He said, "I will travel south. Liu, Tan, Hao, Wang, come with me. The rest of you stay home." He tried to leave Qiu's behind. He had said again and again, "This boy is too clever. He cannot keep silent. Better that he stay." But Qiu would not be left. He borrowed Ma Danyang monk robe, his straw sandals, his little begging bowl, and ran after the line of travelers. Whenever the master stopped to rest, Qiu was there, 3 steps behind, eyes shining, bowls ready. So one morning, Qiu went door to door for the very first time. He had never begged before. A yellow dog barked at him, but a kindly woman came out and filled his bowl with millet. Qiu carried the rice with both hands, walking miles to find his master. "I received nothing from you," the master said, and pushed the bowl aside. The next day, Qiu begged again, and again the master refused. The day after that, Qiu remembered his master was from Shanxi and preferred wheat over rice. So he rose early and begged a few white flour steamed buns. The master took the bowl, looked at it once, and smashed it to the ground. The buns rolled in the dirt. Qiu picked them up one by one, ran after his master, never once with anger in his heart. This is how the master tested whether Qiu's softness was real or pretend. He pushed and pushed, like a smith hammering hot iron, and the iron being good did not crack. So if we are Qiu, what would we do? Are we going to have? Are we going to get angry? Are we going to sort of move back or disappointed because of the masters didn't treat us well? But Qiu, actually, he keeps his eyes on the prize, right? He didn't wander, he didn't back down, and he kept going because he believes that to achieve or attain the Tao, you have to stay true to the path. So there's another story, 100 strokes for the brothers. Winter came. Traveler slept in the cold roadside shrine while snow fell outside. His disciples gathered firewood and built a small flame to warm themselves. The master frowned. He took every bundle of wood and threw it all into the fire at once. The blaze rolled up. Then he tamped it down with his shovel until thick smoke filled the shrine. The disciples coughed and ran outside, rubbing their eyes. The moment they were out, the master shut the door and barked from inside. The wind howled. The snow blew sideways. They could not get back in. So Liu Changsheng whispered, "Whoever taught the fire starter, let's breathe and warm ourselves the right way." So all six sat in the snow, breathing slowly until the heat rose from their own bones and the cold rhythm. In the morning, the master called them inside. His face was thunder. You feared the cold. You wanted lazy fire instead of fire. Each of you, any strokes of the lure to remind you not to stop. Then Liu Changsheng stepped forward and knelt at the master's feet. Master, the fall eye, not theirs. Let the stroke fall on me alone. All 100. Spare my elder brothers. The master looked at the boy a long time. Then he tossed the ruler down and said, "Since you all beg for one another, who can refuse you?" And no strokes were given that day. The master saw, in secret, what the boy was made of. So not long after that, I think the master has given them the final test. And when the master returned home, fall students again gathered like flies, hoping to share his fame. The master decided to drive them away forever. He pretended to grow ill. Boils rose all over his body, stinking sores. The fall students whispered, "He has no doubt after all," and ran away. Only the 7 true disciples stayed, day and night, to watch and tend him. So imagine if your master suddenly get ill and get really, really ill, right? And will you stay? Will you still have confidence? Will you stay actually, to kind of stay true to learn about Tao, or go away? It's actually in many times it is very important for us to be able to have a wisdom and tell the difference between what is the truth, or you're just following a person essentially. So let me keep going to the story. One quiet noon, the master sat upright on his cushion and called them close. "I will die at midday tomorrow. Do not weep. Do not waste money on a great funeral. Take a few simple boards, lay me inside, and carry me west to the foot of Zhongnan Mountain. Wherever the carrying ropes break, bury me there. Disobey me, and I shall not rest." And so it happened. The next noon, the master shut his eyes and was gone. 5 of the disciples lifted his coffin onto poles. They walked for many weeks. Strange to say, every day at mealtime, a kind stranger appeared with hot rice for them. Never a coin asked in return. How can this be? Chu wondered. He was always the curious one. So one morning, he ran ahead to the village, and there he saw an old man in a yellow robe, carrying a stick, walking toward the next house. The old man's face was the master's face. Chu fell to his knees and grabbed the rope. "Master, I have caught you. You are not dead at all." The old man whirled around with thunder in his eyes. "Foolish child, you have shouted out a heavenly secret. For this, you must spend 3 more years in cultivations, quelling the demons of your own heart, and you will be the last of your brothers to attain it down." The wind blew. The yellow robe flickered like a candle in the draft. The master was gone, and Chu stood holding nothing but air. The carrying ropes broke at the foot of Zhongnan Mountain, exactly like the master had foretold. An old farmer there had dreamed the night before of the master asking for a grave and offered a corner of his land. The 7 sons of the Tao buried their teachers under the willow trees, and their childhood ended that day. So their master finally passed away, but this is the true journey has just got started. So years passed. The 7 disciples scattered, each to walk their own path of cultivations. Chu, deeply ashamed of having shouted at the master's secret, sat by the grave for years, refining only his quiet inner work. One spring, his elder brother, Ma Danyang, came walking down the road and clapped Chu's on the shoulder. "You are walking only half the path, brother," Danyang laughed. "Inner work, or inner cultivations, is half of the Tao cultivations. Outer kindness, feeding the hungry, helping strangers, is the other half." The master always said both. Chu was struck like a bell. He bowed and asked Danyang to be his teacher's brother. So they walked together until snow trapped them in a stone shrine in Xiegu. They had only one round meditation cushions between them, and they sat back to back upon it for warmth. For 3 days and 3 nights, no food came and no fire could be made. On the 3rd night, Chu taught, "Poor brother Danyang. He grew up rich. He has never been so cold. I wish I could find him a bowl of hot rice porridge." The thought was small, but it was a hungry thought, a wishing thought, and it broke his stillness. By dawn, a kindly farmer arrived with steaming rice, sent it in a dream by the local earth spirit. The 2 ate. Chu cried, "See, the Tao enters." But Danyang rose with sudden anger. "You set your mind on food, not on the Tao. The food of past, the thought of past, the thought of presence, the thought of future, all 3 must be empty. We part here." So Danyang borrowed the passing woodcutter knives and cut the round cushions neatly in 2. He gave half to Chu and walked into the wind. Soon after, Danyang reached his own enlightenment and ascended in a blaze of cloud. 6 of 7 had now become true immortals. Only Chu remained on the road with half of cushions and a long way still to go. So if you look back here, that I think it is very important for us to remember that as we have learned in the temple, right, we need to be able to cultivate not only for our inner cultivations or cultivating our heart, but we also need for cultivating our mind, right? But we also need to be able to cultivate outwards and helping others. So it is very much reminded all the times, I think, in the temple that we also need to help others to receive Tao, right? Propagate Tao and help our families, friends to receive Tao. right? So that is also as important as cultivating our own mind and become stay true to our inner kind of cultivations, right? And when we say cultivations, especially inner cultivations, that includes our mind to stay still and use the three treasures, right? So this is actually our cultivations to make sure our mind doesn't wander around, and we need to be able to to look inward. To look inward actually means that we do not follow our thought process and then using our five senses to keep chasing our thought farther and farther away, but rather we need to look inward and then be able to use the three treasures to keep our mind still. So the stillness of our mind is very important. And then sometimes just a very tiny thought, once you reach certain cultivations, the thought can become true. So like our whole teacher also has said before, like one thought is one reincarnation, and it is, we can see from the story, just one thought of like a hungry thought that could lead into breaking his stillness, and then somebody else came with the food. So in this story, I think his older brother Ma Danyang has been trying to tell him that the thought of past, the thought of present, the thought of future, all three must be empty, right? So this is a very important lesson that his brother has given him, and now he is in his own way to do his own cultivations. So Chu wandered alone to a town in Henan. He stopped at a fine farmhouse to beg for a meal. A small boy brought out a tray heaped with food, but a white bearded old man ran up, plucked off only 2 steamed buns from Chu, and ordered the rest taken back inside. Why so little? Asked Chu, surprised. The old man laughed. I am called Sai Ma Yi, the master of faces. I read fortunes from the lines of the brow and lip. Look at you. Your nose has the mark called snake locks the mouth. You are fated to die of starvation. Why give a full bowl to a man who cannot keep it? Chu's heart turned to ice. Can it not be changed? Not by all the gold of Han, not by the mercy of any king, even the great prince Zhao Wuling, starved at the top of a tree, reaching for a sparrow's egg that broke before it touched his lips. Sai Ma Yi shook his head. Your face is your destiny. So Chu, full of grief, decided to surrender to fate like the noble starvers of old. He found a flat rock between 2 cliffs and lay down, refusing food and water. 9 days passed. The streams swelled with summer rain that drew near. Then, a small, bright peach came bobbing down the current. Its smell drifted to him. Chu thought, even Prince Chao could not eat his sparrow's egg. Let me see if I can eat this peach. So he reached out, he bit. It was sweet beyond any earthly fruit, and life poured back into him. The water dropped, the sun rose, he sat up, weak but alive, though his trial had only just begun. And then he tried again in the mountains, where still Chu, held to the prophecy. He climbed to a forgotten shrine high in the Qin mountains. He lay down again today. So near sunset, voices boomed outside. A dozen rough men in dusty tunics had came to share a meal. And they were no honest farmers. They were the famous Qinlin bandits. Brave Zhao Bi, fierce Wang Neng, hot-tempered Zhu Jiu, and many more. So they lit a fire, cut up meat, boiled noodles, opened a jar of wine. Then Wang Neng peered into the dim shrine. Brothers, look, there is an old monk here, half a corpse. Big Zhao Bi nodded. We have done many bad things. Tonight, let us do one good thing. Cook a hot bowl of noodle soup. And then they lifted Chu up by the shoulders, pried open his mouth, poured the broth in. Warm crashed back into him. But Chu groaned, why do you spoil my dying with food I never asked for? Chu hot-tempered blade. He drew his blade, and then he said, ungrateful old goat, if you want to die, I will help you. He raised the knife. Chu, calm as still water, pat his belly. Don't waste the strike. Cut here. Take out my insides and give your noodles back. Zhu Jiu laughed despite himself. The bandits sat down to listen. Chu told the fortune teller's curse and the old man's words about the wise men of old. Zhao Bi sigh. Old master, every man we have robbed, we owe in some past life. Our karma is heavy. If we keep on this path, the next life will demand it back of us. That night, the bandits buried their swords in the long grass and vowed to live by honest trade. Someday, when you have the Tao, said Zhao Bi, we will come and find you and bow at your feet. And the bandits walk off down the mountain, leaving Chu alive and alone. So yet again, Chu, yet looking for his dad, but couldn't. But Chu still believed the fortune. He bought a long iron chain and strong padlock with the last of his arms. He found a place. No road went near, a deep wood of ancient trees and tangled briars. There he locked the chain around his neck, fastened the other ends to a great trunk, and hurled the key into the air. Now I cannot be safe, he whispered. Lay down to wait for the end. Days passed, then footsteps rustled in the leaves. An old man with a basket of herbs stood beside him. Old master, what crime have you done? Who has chained you here? Chu turned his head away. Mind your own business, pass on, go on. The matters of the world are everyone's business, said the old man, and would not leave. So Chu, sighing, told him the whole story. The fortune teller's curse, the rock by the river, the bandits with their soup, and now the chain. The old man burst out laughing. Foolish child. Faces only fix the face of an ordinary man. The face of a kind soul reshapes itself. The face of a cruel one twists into ruin. The heart molds the face, not the face the heart. Not the face mold the hearts. So you are a cultivator. You cannot turn the wheels of heaven and earth, transform a body of flesh into a body of light. And you let 2 ink lines of a nose decide your life. So the chain shook on Chu's neck. The old man reached into his sleeve and produced the fairy key Chu had thrown away. Click. The chain fell. I gave you no money. I gave you no food. Only a few words. If they save you, you save yourself. If they do not, no one can. So the old man rose into the air and was gone. for he was none other than the great Star Lord Tai Bai Xingjun. So actually, the immortals came down from the heaven to give him a few advices so that he doesn't, keep strangle himself into the fortune tellers. Because many times in our life, right, we've been only looking for or wanting to hear some, good advices. But at the same time, I think, in our life, actually, even my dad has told this story before. Like, I'm not sure if you have asked our fate or our destiny to our fortune tellers. Fortune tellers can be very accurate, actually. However, those predictions, the fortune tellers can only bind people who are really common people who doesn't cultivate. If you are a cultivator, you can change your mind by cultivating, right? So by the time you are cultivating your mind or your heart, it doesn't stay the same anymore. You can change it. You can use it the way that you want it, not used by the mind itself, right? So the more that you can actually go beyond and start going through this cultivation journey, you are not longer bound by your own destiny. You are the master of your own destiny, right? So I think that's what the Tai Pei Xing Jun is trying to tell him, and then he listened. Free from his chain, Chu lifted his head. He saw a wide stream where travelers waited helplessly because there was no boat and no bridge. Here is real work, he thought. He took off his sandals, rolled up his robe, and began carrying people across the water on his back. Some gave him a few coins, others nothing. He used his earnings to feed the starving. When the river dried, he begged for rice, sharing what he gathered with anyone hungrier than himself. The shrine at the riverside bore an old plaque. From the disciples of Pansi, Chu hearts leapt. Long ago, his master had foretold, at Pansi, the root of suffering will end, and at the Longmen, the great equalizer will be complete. So this was the place. He stayed 6 long years, nearly starved 72 times, and went hungry countless times more. So as you can see, actually a lot of those predictions from the fortune teller was true. He was almost died for 72 times, right? He was starved almost to death for 72 times, and then he went hungry countless times more. But he never bowed down. He never gave up. He kept going. One summer noon, 3 soldiers came to the bank. Each carried a severe bandaged head and demanded to be carried across. Chu carried 2 without trouble. The third was a frightened, trembling man. Mid-river, a wave struck. The soldier fled. The bloody head he held flew from his hand and tumbled into the rushing current. Oh, now I'm ruined, the soldier wailed on the far bank. How can I report this to the commander? Chu kindly drew the man's old knife and then held it to his throat. Kill me. Take my head in place of the lost one. I am alone. You have a family. The soldier wept and pushed the blade away. Suddenly, the 3 soldiers simmered. Their armor turned to clouds. Their swords became jade tablets. They stood on 5-color mist. We are the 3 officials of heaven, earth, and water. Sangguan Dadi. They said, we came to test you. 6 years of suffering completed. 7 years, and you became the true immortals. The knife of Chu's hand was no longer a knife, but a jade audience table. And the river rode rode on like applause. Chu took the tablet up among the clouds, returned it, and rode the wind back to Saimai town. The old fortune teller, now bent and white, peered at his face and gasped. Your lines have moved. No more snake lock at the lip. Now twin dragons playing the pearl. You will be honored by the emperor. So just like that, once we are in the cultivations path, we cannot change directions. We have to keep going, right? And even we are not afraid of that. And looking at that is really like going back home. And when you can actually go beyond and transcend it yourself into the next level, that's when your destiny and your fortune change. So it is true. Once he actually cultivated long enough, his destiny now has started to change. Even the destiny or the face, his face has slowly transformed. So the next story. So I think once he was done from there, now he has become the immortal. But yet Chu had been clever. He had used the cloud ride to settle the old fortune teller for fun, for pride. The moment of pride opened a crack in his heart. The inner demons rushed in. False visions, ghostly voices, a fake teacher walking up the path, a beautiful runaway girl begging for help, a widow with crying children pulling at his sleeves. Each illusion tried to drag him out of stillness. So Chu changed his method. He found a low hill with a heavy round stone at the bottom, 100 caddies of stubborn rock. Whenever a demon rose in his mind, he leaped up and rolled the stone halfway up the slope and let it tumble back down. Then he said again, then up again, stone up, stone down, up, down. He did it for 3 more years. The stone was smooth. Chu's body grew lean as a deer's. The illusions, having no quiet pool to settle in, faded one by one. At last, his whole being was clean of dust, what the old books call pure young, with no shadow left. The mind is a pond. When it grows perfectly still, demons rise to wear its reflections like masks, steer the water, and they have no face left to wear. So it is very important, actually, even though has become the immortal, but he was still clouded by his own demons in his mind, right? So to fully get rid of those last smile, like getting rid of the last shadow, it was very important for him to kind of stay true to the path and then no wanders around, because at the end, the pride in his heart could actually stray him away from his cultivation journey. So we many times we have to reflect in our own mind. Do we have a lot of pride? Do we have a lot of jealousy, or look down upon other people? So those are not true. Those are the inner demons that work within ourselves. And Chu has been able to overcome that, finding his own way to transcend beyond his own demon. Now he has found his own perfect stillness, and the eternal stillness. So he's 7 years complete, just like as predicted before by the Sangguan Dati, right? So now he's 7 years complete. Chu came down from the hill to do the work of gods had marked for him. He arrived at the manor of a rich, cruel landlord named Wang Yun, who cheated farmers, beat his servants, and had thrown out the priest of his ancestor temple. Chu came to warn him heaven would not be patient much longer. So day after day, Chu back at Wang Yun gate. Day after day, the household drove him off without even water. Once, when Chu finally faced the master of the house, Wang Yun took up a shovel of horse dung and dropped it into Chu's bowl. Here is your alms. The whole household roared with laughter. Only one little maid named Chunhua hid 2 steam bun in her sleeve and slipped them to him. So one morning, Chu pulled Chunhua aside. Do you see the stone lion at the gate? Watch its eyes. When they turn red, run as fast as you can up the hill to the Guanyin temple, and do not look back. Then he vanished like smoke. So Chunhua watched the lion's eyes every day. Months passed and nothing happened. A buffalo boy noticed and decided to play a trick. He smeared 2 big rounds of red mud over the lion's eyes one evening. When Chunhua came out for her usual peek, the eyes blazed crimson in the dusk. She screamed and ran. The buffalo boy, curious, ran after her. They flung themselves under the altar of the Guanyin temple, just as the sky split open. The dragon roared down the valley, took the entire Wang manor on its back, and carried the wicked house away to the dragon palace under the sea. By morning, only the stone lion was left, lying on its side in the river. The kindness of 1 steam bun, the trick of 1 buffalo boy, saved 2 lives. Chunhua kept her hair and lived in the little temple as a daughter of the Tao. And one day, many years later, Chu came back and made her his disciple. So this kindness, we all have this. And it is very important for us to, be kind to one each other. We cannot look down upon any people, including beggars, right? So just by that one kindness action of Chunhua has saved her life. So, and then I think Chu has actually moved and then wander around into the foothills of Long province, where 2 great cliffs lean over a winding stream. There he saw a cave whose mouth was shaped like a great gate. People call it the Longmen, or the Great Dragon Gate. After the old story of carp leaping up to become dragons, his master's prophecy rang in his ears. At Longmen, the great equalizer is complete. So he settled there and deepened his cultivation for 2 more years. Then a great drought came. The crops yellowed. The wells went dry. The local officials prayed and prayed for rain. None came. Chu walked down the mountain, offered to pray. The town mayor, desperate, set up an altar. Chu washed, put on clean robes, and bowed flat to the ground. For 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, he sang petitions to the Lord of Heaven. On the 3rd afternoon, a black mist gathered above the white sun, opened like a great curtain, and rain poured down for 3 days and 3 nights. The harvest was saved. The next year, a far worse drought struck the land around Beijing. The Mongol Emperor Yuan Shun proclaimed a great reward for any holy man who could bring rain. The governor of Long province sent a letter to court. There is a hermit at Longmen, and the rains love him. So a great minister named Hali Tuotuo was sent on a fast horse with silken gifts. Chu accepted, traveled to the capital, and the emperor received him as a teacher. At a high altar inside the palace, Chu sprinkled clean water from a willow branch. Within hours, the sun darkened, clouds rolled in, and rainfall fell for many days. The whole empire rejoiced. The emperor named Chu Hongdao Zhenren, the truly realized master who spreads the Tao. 1 ragged hermit in the rain altar, 1 emperor on his throne, and somewhere up in a bright dark cloud, the master smiled. So the emperor walked with Chu in the imperial garden, where the grass stayed evergreen, the flower never wilted, and strange stones stood among curious trees. The emperor sighed. I would gladly leave the throne and follow the Tao, but I have no son to inherit. Chu smiled. Your Majesty, the empress is already with child. It will be a son, beyond any doubt. The emperor was thrilled and told the empress at once. The empress, urging the emperor, sent for the empire's most famous Buddhist monk, Master Bai Yun Chanshi, to verify. Bai Yun counted on his fingers and his beads and announced gravely, it will be a daughter, a phoenix, not a dragon. So the 2 stood face to face before the emperor. Bai Yun said, the numbers cannot lie. And then Chu said, numbers bow to the heart of heaven. The rain you saw was no number, and yet it came. Your Majesty's prayers have moved the cosmos. The phoenix may yet become a dragon, Bai Yun sneered. Will you wager? Are you going to bet, right? What is the stake? Asked Chu. If you are right, and a dragon is born, I shall give you the great Bai Yun temple itself. And if you're right, and a phoenix is born, I shall give you my head. So they wrote it on silk. They put their seals on it. The emperor folded the paper into a sleeve and waited. The night came. The empress gave birth to a baby girl. Bai Yun's face shone with the triumph. But Chu, in his quiet quarters, drew a holy talisman in the air and summoned the heavenly fairy, Yu Zhen. He whispered, in the prince's palace tonight, a wife of the prince is bearing a son. Take a small gourd and change it to a girl doll and exchange the babies. After my proof at court, return them. So at dawn, the court assembled. Bai Yun bowed in mock condolence. The emperor sighed and offered to pay 100,000 string of cash to spare Chu's life. Then Chu walked in, groaning, and asked to see the newborn. A nurse brought out the swaddled infant. Chu lifted the cloth, and the baby was a healthy boy. The prince has come, Chu cried. The whole thunders with tears. Bai Yun's face went the color of paper. He bowed, accepted the feat, and the great Bai Yun temple was Chu's. The fairy returned only the gourd to the ninth heavens. The swap remained. The empress kept the boy she now believed was her own, and the prisoning families raised the empress' daughters as their own, and the Dao had a great new house. But the empress, embarrassed by losing her temple, listened to Bai Yun whispering, test him with poison. If he is truly an immortal, no poison can harm him. So she set out 3 cups of dark poisons, wine called zhenjiu, a brew from the wet feathers of legendary Chen bird, and said to kill any ordinary man with a single sip. Chu fell the trap before he entered the hole. He turned to his disciples, the old bandits, now monks, and said, "Line up 24 big jars of cold water at the gate when I return. Do not be late." The empress smiled sweetly and offered the wine. Chu drained 1 cup, 2, 3, all the 3 cups. He bowed and walked away. As soon as he reached the temple, he leaped into the first jar of cold water. The water steamed and boiled. He hopped into the second. It boiled too. By the 23rd jar, the water was only warm. By the 24th, the poison had risen all the way to the top of his head and burned a white stripe of his black hair away. The crown of his head was bare and bright. The empress, hearing he had not died, was now half ashamed and half curious. Bai Yun whispered again, "Send him a single ingot of pure gold to wear as a crown. He will fail and lose face." So a tray was brought with a heavy lump of gold. "Taoist master, here is your court crown." Chu took it in both hands, breathed his inner fire on it, and the gold turns off as a warm honey. He took a thin steel needle from his sleeves, pressed the gold flat, looped a few strands of his remaining hairs through, fastened the soft gold like a tile, let it cool into shape, and he stood up smiling, the gold gleaming above his brows. "So bow before your servant drank long-lived wine. Heaven's gate, the crown of light was open. Your humble servants accept your majesty gold. A man's head will always wear that heaven has made feet." So the empress laughed and apologized. Bai Yun stepped from behind the screen and bowed. "It is I who tested you, my brother. Forgive me." Chu took his hand. "It is I who took your temple. Forgive me." The emperor declared that henceforth Taoists would wear yellow crowns, and so they do even today. Temple was renamed the Bai Yun Abbey and given to the Taoists forever. From that day on, Chu and Bai Yun were not rivals but brothers. Chu opened the abbey to all who wished to study the Tao. He taught the Gather Seekers, including his old bandit friends from the Qinling Mountains, who had finally came to find him. "Who really leaves home to follow the Tao?" he asked them. "Not the one who shaves his head, not the one who ties his hair, not the one who is willing to be hungry, to be misunderstood, to be cold, to be small. That one has truly left home. Whoever cannot endure this simple put on a robe and live as before." In the long quiet hours after teaching, Chu wrote a great book about the journey, a monk of his companions traveling west across 81 trials. Every trial, the demon of the heart. He titled it Journey to the West. He sent it as a gift to Bai Yun. Bai Yun read it through in one sitting and laughed with delight. So the Buddhist master sat down and wrote his own great book about the gods, generals, and the cosmos at war within a kingdom, and titled it Investiture of the Gods. He sent it to Chu in return. The two thick books traveled across the city in the same evening, in opposite directions, like two cranes flying past each other in the sky. The Dharma teaches emptiness, the Tao teaches unborn. Empty and unborn, they are the same word in different mouths. So said the emperors, blessing them both. Bai Yun went south to spread his teachings by the rivers. Chu stayed at the abbey, training disciples and opening 72 new monasteries up and down the empire. So as you can see, like this Chu person now has become friends, and Chu actually wrote a book using the Buddhist sort of like teachings, right? Like Journey of the West actually has been teaching that as a human being, we cannot have the three poisons: greediness, like greed, right? And then anger, and then foolishness, right? So and then on the other way around, I think Bai Yun has written a book using the Taoist story, which is called the Fengshen Yan Yi. So these are just like the gratitude and respect for each other that they have throughout this process. And then as the years rolled, Chu Changchun grew old in body, ageless in eye. He wrote down the rules of the Quanzhen school. He opened 72 great monasteries. He gathered students from every direction. He had completed 3,000 merits and 8,800 deeds, just as the book said, an immortal must. On the 19th day of the 10th month, the sky over the abbey shimmered with rosy light. Two small jade boys appeared, leading a great snow-white crane. By order of the High Lords, they sang. The truly realized master is invited home. Chu stepped onto the crane's back. The music sounded from inside the clouds. He rose into the sky as easily as a leaf carried up by warm wind. As the gates of heaven, the great immortals bowed to him. The three officials read out the merits of all 7 disciples. Each was given a glorious title. Qiu Chuji, his name, Qiu Changchun becomes Tianqian Zhuangyuan, and then he became the Quanzhen Patriarch, right? And then I think everyone will have his own sort of like title. Because of time, I'm not going to read all of them. So 6 of 7 bowed and accepted the honors, but Chu remained on his knees, weeping. The High Lord asked, "Why do you not rise?" Chu said, "Lord of heaven, the Tao is hard to learn. To bear hunger, cold, mockery, and shame, as I have borne them, only 1 in 10,000 can. If I accept this title, my brothers and sisters in the future ages may try to follow and have no one to help them. Forgive me, I cannot rise." Then a fierce red-haired Star Lord with a golden whip strode out from the western hall. "I will be the protector," he shouted. "Whoever offers 3 parts in 10 of true efforts, I will supply the remaining 7. Whoever offers all 10 parts, I will stand at their side as long as the world turns. Rise, Qiu Changchun, they will not be alone." So Qiu stood, bowed to the protector, and was given a robe and a jade tablet. The 7 immortals went together to the jade pond of the Queen Mother of the West, where they ate the great peaches that ripen once in the 3,000 years. And there hangs on the tale of a boy who eavesdrops at the master's door, who was beaten down 100 times and rose 100 times, who was told he would starve and instead fed an empire. Qiu Changchun, the master of the eternal spring. So here you go. So this is like the story of the immortal Chu. He has never been given up. He always rose to the challenge and been able to overcome any obstacles that came after him. So this is actually a very good story for us to digest and then reflect and also see where we can apply them in our cultivation journey, right? So in any cultivations, it is very important for us to kind of stay true to the path and then do not look back. Keep going to the same directions. Finally, I believe that everyone will achieve our own destiny and it can eventually become immortal or Buddha ourselves. So at last, I would like to again ask for forgiveness if anything that I've said has been a mistake, and also would like for the heavens grace, forgiveness, and our whole teachers, and also looking at the coordinator and the masters to give any corrections. And then here at last, I would like to say thank you to everyone again for your time, and thank you so much for listening.
One, everyone please rise. Two, we thank you to Speaker Lee.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Speaker Lee, for sharing the story of the cultivation path of immortal Chu Changchun. It is a very interesting story. From the story, we know that in the path of our cultivation, everyone will have to face the trial. From the trial, then we will know where we are. From the trial, we will know where is our perseverance. From the trial, we will know is our mindset, is it correct, in the correct path, right? So through this story, Junior sure that everyone learn a lot from it. Thank you, Speaker Lee. So now Junior going to share an announcement. Our next class will be on 24th of May. Do remember that to check in 20 minutes before. Thank you very much. Thank you, Speaker Lee, for sharing this story, and thank you, Speaker Xu, who lead the Holy Song with us. Right. So thank you very much. Everyone, please rise. For the end of the class, gentlemen, 3 bows to Heavenly Mother. First bow, second bow, and third bow. Ladies, 3 bows to Heavenly Mother. First bow, second bow, and third bow. Let's invite Speaker Xu, represent all of us, to send out the Holy Lamb. Thank you. Gentlemen, 3 bows to Heavenly Mother. First bow, second bow, and third bow. Ladies, 3 bows to Heavenly Mother. First bow, second bow, and third bow. Thank you. Thank you for all our brother and sister online. See you again on 24th. Thank you so much. Good night. All the best in our cultivation. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The holy truth, eternal life. We love you'll see heavenly light. Thou is in our everyday life. It is our life's only guide. Now you've known the right path leading the way. Cultivate yourself night and day. With your mind never let the heart stray. Let the words of darkness cast away. Rectify your thoughts and be upright. Purify your heart from desires and pride. Let us speak and act with pure mind. Be a lamp for those without sunshine. Save all sentient beings with full passion. Guide and show them the right direction. Fill our hearts with care and concern. Accomplish it in due season.